We can see quite clearly that men and women, generally speaking, are very different biologically, but the differences in our skin structure probably isn't one you may have thought of. Let's talk through how each differ. Firstly, the biggest reasoning behind the different structure of the skin layers between the genders is the level of male androgens. These are the hormones like testosterone and DHT. Let's firstly talk about male skin and its general properties. It has a thicker epidermis, which is the top layer of the skin. The sebum or oil glands produce more oil. It's less elastic. It has more pores. It also has a thinner subcutaneous tissue, which is the layer below the skin, which usually contains the fatty tissue just above the muscle. It's also more acidic and it has more blood content in the skin itself. In terms of female skin, we are essentially talking about the opposite. So a thinner epidermis, the top layer of the skin, less sebum or oil production from the oil glands in the skin, more skin elasticity, lower skin blood content, less pores, thicker subcutaneous tissues, the layer below the skin, and also it is less acidic as well. Now, there's a few things to consider here. Firstly, we're not talking huge differences here, and it's more important to understand that these differences run on a spectrum depending upon your own hormonal levels and your androgen receptors' sensitivity to these hormones. If a woman, for example, has acne, it's quite likely she has higher levels of male hormones like testosterone. Therefore, their skin will be more male-like in its properties than the average woman. This tends to be the case for women with PCOS, which I will cover in another video. But overall, the question is likely, why do women still get acne so often if they have 10 times less testosterone than the men? There could be two main reasons to this. The first is that although women have much less testosterone than men, their receptors to these hormones are far more sensitive to its effects. Secondly, their skin, as we've said before, is less acidic, and having a more acidic base will reduce acne bacteria overgrowth on the skin. In terms of treating acne and reducing skin oiliness, reducing male androgens will have a large effect. This is where hormonal treatments are often prescribed to women. As you may know already, you often have two types prescribed, which are estrogen-based pills, such as oral contraceptives, and also anti-androgens, like spironolactone, which works to reduce male hormones in the body. This isn't often recommended as a treatment for men, as introducing more estrogen into the body or reducing testosterone can be quite problematic for our bodies, as I said in a previous video. But I would still be quite cautious about choosing to take hormonal contraception or anti-androgens in the case of women as well, as our bodies often like a certain homeostasis, and blindly altering our hormones can cause a number of issues with mood, menstrual cycle, energy levels, etc. So please give consideration before introducing more hormones into your body. It's common that in the medical community they are very cautious introducing testosterone into men's bodies, which are essentially still anabolic steroids. But for women, estrogen pills are prescribed without a second thought. But I would recommend using topical treatments first, as I think these can be very effective and don't make any significant changes internally. In terms of the effectiveness of topical treatments in men versus women, there is some evidence to suggest that clindamycin, the antibiotic, and benzoyl peroxide gels are more effective in females, but isotretinoin, or roaccutane as a brand name, has been shown to be equally as effective in both genders. But again, if you've ever used benzoyl peroxide or isotretinoin, you'll know that there are a host of visible side effects you'll experience. So as always, I'd suggest doing your research on natural treatments for acne to get the results you need with minimal side effects. And also keep an eye out for the release of Aqneeq's products as well this year for natural treatments for acne. As an extra point, it's worth noting that research has shown that adherence to skincare routines were often the same between the males and females. So when both the genders have a proper and effective skincare routine, they follow this just as closely as each other. As always, thanks for watching this, guys. If you did find it useful or interesting, I'd hugely appreciate it if you could share, follow, etc. on whatever platform you're seeing this on. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon.